stage here at GameSpot. It's Spider-Man time. We've got D. Brown here from Beanox. He's the head of the studio that's developing the amazing Spider-Man. D, welcome to the show.
Hey, Chris.
Glad to see you here. Last time we talked was last year at E3 for Edge of Time, which was amazing, and 2099. But this year, it's all about amazing.
Yeah, it's all about amazing. Actually, it's been over 2 years in the making. This game, actually, I mean, we've been
and you didn't tell me about it last year.
Yeah, well, since we did Shared Dimensions, actually, this team created something that was really fresh and new, and we wanted to go on with do something that was again something really fresh, something new for the license, and so we basically asked that team come out with something that's going to be brand new, and the Amazing Spider-Man game that's going to come on June 26th is the answer to this. There's nothing we've not redesigned and to create the ultimate Spider-Man experience.
Wowza. Now, I think the first thing that folks are going to want to know, and will become immediately apparent, I imagine, in this demo, is we're seeing what appears to be like a large portion of Manhattan.
Yep.
Can I just go web sling my way over there?
Absolutely. I mean, New York City is all open to you. You can go everywhere on the island, right almost right at the beginning of the game, and you're going to notice that this is something that sense of freedom is something that we've pushed very much. You can see that just the web swing mechanic. Take a look at that. It's so cool to have the camera much closer to the main character, and it gives you that sense of vertigo and speed that people have been asking about for 4 years. New York, that's the first free roaming experience you get since 4 years, since Web of Shadows.
It's been a long time for Spider-Man before he's had this kind of freedom. Quick question coming in about the Manhattan city streets. How true to the actual layout of the city is this?
Well, I mean, every time we do something like that, we always try to make a combination of realism and gameplay. So, I mean, I think we've struck a great balance between the two. People will be able to find familiar location, landmarks such as Times Square, obviously the Empire State Buildings, and all those like typical landmarks from New York. So it's definitely going to have that great Manhattan vibe, but still adjusted for gameplay purposes.
All right, now this is releasing with the movie, bears the title of the movie. But it's not an open world movie. Like, what's the connection between the narrative, the adventure of the movie, and the game?
Yeah, well, right at the beginning of the project, actually, we wanted to have this game to be an incredible game on its own, a game that stands on its own. So when we met with Mark Webb and all the crew at Sony, and also the people at Marvel, we've asked them, can you guys let us put the story after the events of the movie? And they've said yes, and they've been very collaborative with that. So having the story set after the events of the movie allow us to introduce all sorts of cool things that are not in the movie itself, such as a bunch of Marvel villains, and layer in all sort of cool stuff for the fans.
It seems like some nice freedom for you guys, because a lot of the times you make a movie tie-in game, you're sort of bound by the structure of the movie and trying to find out where to make those gameplay moments happen. But here you guys get to use the suit design, you get to use the world the movie creates, and then just run with it. Yeah,
exactly, because I think that the new universe that they have introduced in the movie is really cool. It's much more grounded in reality, actually. It's very nice. It's a bit darker as well. So this is something that you're going to see. All this feeling that you're going to see and love in the movie is actually in the game as well. But we've taken a lot of liberties with how we treat Spider-Man. Well, you can see on the screen, look at how he moves around the city. It's just incredible. It's actually that new feature that we are introducing for the very first time. It's called the Web Rush. And the Web Rush is awesome because it gives you this unprecedented level of control over Spidey. All those cool moves. Look at that. He just ran on a boss, and then he jumped on the side of a building. He all does that using his environment. And just by what Stefan is doing right now is just tapping the Web Rush button, and it chains all those moves. So that's a brand new way to move with Spider-Man that you were not able to do before.
It looks like a nice evolution of the web zip mechanic that you guys used in your previous games, where you'd sort of, you target a specific place that you can zip to, but this is much more fluid, and more dynamic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're only seeing the navigational aspect of WebRush, but there's also a lot of contextual options, and it plays a very important role in the combat as well, so that you can actually and you have stealth options, for example. So when you're in an indoor levels, you can approach any situation with typical end-to-end combat. You can use WebRush to interact with environmental props, throw them on your enemies, or you can also use the WebRush to move in your environment in a very tactical manner, like get behind an enemy and then use it to do a stealth takedown and take down the enemy before he sees you.
Are you taking a little stealth cue from Noir, the level?
Exactly. I mean, Spider-Man Noir was super well received in Shared Dimension. We heard a lot of great things about it. So this time around, instead of locking you in kind of a stealth forced stealth gameplay like we had in Spider-Man Noir. Now we're giving you the choice. I mean, people that love the stealth mechanics of Noir are going to be able to play the game like this if they want to. Some others that maybe love more the ultimate fighting style that was much more action-oriented, they get that as well.
Before we get to the fighting style, which I do want to talk about combat, I got to take a question from the audience. User 56 wants to know about cars and helicopters and interactions with vehicles that Spider-Man might have.
Yeah, well, right now we're seeing one of the side missions that is a car chase, which is kind of really cool. And this is going to show you actually one of the unique way that WebRush really comes in handy, where you can really pinpoint which car you want to go. Like right now, you're web swinging, but you want to get on this car, you want to stop it and help the police. So you're going to be able to, using WebRush, target the car and go right on top of it.
And nice. I was worried there for a second that he had overshot and he was going to have to like swing back around.
Yeah, and just have like a hard time getting there. But no, I mean, and look at the camera. Like that camera that's now much closer to the main character. That's something that now that we've put in the entire game, so that you really feel like you are Spider-Man yourself. Plus in terms of other vehicles like the helicopters, it's kind of really cool. One of my favorite thing actually in the game is to web rush myself on an helicopter, like on the side of an helicopter, and then since we're giving you a camera, so you actually have a camera in the game that you can pull out at any time and take pictures of whatever you want. So you can just go on the helicopter and just admire the view and then take a picture of whatever you want, and you have a digital photo album in the game where you can save your pictures, which is really cool.
Can you then sell them to J. Jonah Jameson? To pay your rent money?
No, unfortunately, no. But we have a lot of side missions that actually require you to take pictures of specific stuff, and you can unlock all sort of really cool bonuses.
All right, so photography side missions. We just saw a car chase. Sort of seemed to be a side mission. What's the main mission? What's the main narrative thrust of The Amazing Spider-Man?
Well, at the beginning of the game, actually, like since the story takes place after the events of the movie, there's now this new guy called Alistair Smythe that a lot of people from Marvel fans will remember.
No doubt.
He's now the new scientist, the top scientist at Oscorp, and he does not really believe in like the cross-species research of Dr. Connors. So actually, he's moving all the research away from Oscorp, but unfortunately an event happened and all those cross-species gets unleashed in the city. And since the guy really believes in nanotechnology, he's gonna release an army of hunter robots to go after those cross-species. But Spider-Man is of course one of the cross-species, so you're gonna be well, in big
from
trouble.
Both sides. Yeah. Folks, one of Spider-Man's most recent roles outside of Edge of Time is in Marvel vs. Capcom in the fighting game. So I'm curious about the voice actor. Did you get the guy from the movie or the previous Josh Keaton guy from the games? And Aaron SBB wants to know if he has any moves that we'll recognize from the fighting game.
Well, no, all the moves are really brand new, and they're inspired actually from the Mexican wrestling style, like lucha libre, which is something like they touch on in the movie. And this is really cool. It makes for those crazy moments, and it's very nice. But as far as the voice actors are concerned, unfortunately, we've not announced yet what our voice actors are going to be. It is not the voice actors from the movie, though. I mean, because we would have loved to have them, but unfortunately our production schedule just couldn't align. And it's also like we had made a statement right from the start that this game was an awesome game, a game that would stand on its own and would not need like a movie support or anything.
Okay.
So we went on with our own VO actors, but you'll be able to have fan favorites in there. Bruce Campbell Bruce Campbell
No
is
kidding.
actually. Oh yeah, Bruce Campbell. We
The
had to have
ultimate
Bruce
fan
Campbell,
favorite,
right?
man.
Yeah. So Bruce Campbell is actually playing a role in our game. Like he is an extreme sports reporter. He's in a blimp that flies above the city, and he's gonna give you all those crazy acrobatic challenges that you're gonna have.
Heckling you from a blimp seems like a good role for Bruce
Yeah,
Campbell.
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, and he has those hilarious lines. And there's another guy, awesome, like Stan Lee. You might know Stan Lee, right?
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does.
Google it.
Yeah. So Stan, for the first time, he's not only doing a voice in our game. He's actually fully playable if you pre-order the game. If you pre-order the game from Amazon, you're gonna get to be Stan Lee. Yeah, of course. Like he's awesome in the city, web swinging around and everything.
Oh, you actually play as.
Oh yeah. You web swing around. Well, he's the creator of Spidey, so obviously he's able to do all this by himself. And so it's really great. So you have all those side missions that you have to do, and it's very fun stuff. And when you get to complete the side missions, we've actually put a little surprise in there for the fans for the 50th anniversary of Spider-Man, which I'm sure you're all aware of, is this year.
So playable Stan Lee.
Oh yeah.
That is fantastic.
It's plays as good as it sounds.
Question coming in from the email. Mr. Delansky wants to know about, and other people were asking about this before. Spider-Man's webs have been explained in a numerous different ways. Do you have to like reload or worry about overusing them at all in the Amazing Spider-Man?
Well, actually, we've been trying to be as true to the movie universe as possible. So details like in the movie, for example, the web shooters flash red when he's shooting a web. So this happens in the game as well. We didn't want the player to run out of web. We thought that would just be silly from a gameplay standpoint.
Yeah, who wants to run out of web?
Yeah, but then again, we wanted to be true to what they're doing in the movie. So what we're doing is that from time to time, you will notice in the game that he has this animation that he does using his like kind of the small utility belt that we've put on him. So he's automatically reloading his web shooter. So he does reload, but it's not it's not player triggered.
You're not going to be floating through the air and see press X to reload. Your web cartridges are low.
Yeah, or find some glowing thing in the environment to magically reload your shooters. That's not going to happen. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
VGamer92 wants to know if there are other costumes for Spider-Man. Obviously, Stan Lee is kind of like a costume. It's a totally separate dude. But are we going to see some other Spidey looks in the game?
Definitely. I mean, suits is always a big thing. Like all the fans really love that. We've not announced yet what suits they're going to be, but there are a lot of suits in there that have never made it into any Spider-Man game before.
Never. So there have been so many Spider-Man games.
And there's been a lot of Spider-Man, different Spider-Man types in the past. But the suit is actually something that we've worked a lot in this game. If you'll be able to see that, for example, the suit does degrade over time as you get beaten up and everything. So you're going to first see scratches and everything. Eventually you see Peter Parker's skin, bruises, blood, and we change his animation and everything. And that new camera angle that we're putting in the game makes you feel so connected to the character. It makes you really feel the pain. So.
D, it seems like Amazing Spider-Man is shaping up to be a real nice change of pace for the Spider-Man games. Some nice freedom to swing around like everybody wants to do.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention before we just tell folks when it's coming out and on what platforms?
Well, certainly. I mean, this is the best game we've ever done at Beanox. This is the biggest undertaking, the biggest budget, biggest resource, the most time we've put in a game. This is our vision for a Spider-Man game. This is just an incredible game. If you've played past Spider-Man games, you got to try this one because it's offering you so much fresh stuff. It's just incredible.
You guys have made a lot of Spider-Man games with sort of strongly directed gameplay, but now you're setting them loose.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Looking forward to it, D.
Yeah.
You said it's coming out in just a few weeks.
Yeah, June 26th for 360, PS3, Nintendo Wii, 3DS, DS, and we've even announced that a bit further we're gonna ship a PC version as well.
Excellent. And a bit further, a Wii U version.
Who knows?
Who knows what the future will bring? But in a few weeks, Amazing Spider-Man will be available. D. Brown, thank you so much for coming by and showing it off on the show.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thanks.
All right, folks. Now it's time to check in with Brendan Sinclair and Kevin Van Ord for a news recap here at E3 Day 3.